Hi class, it's me, your math teacher Jello. For today's video, let's discuss about random variables. Random variable is a function that associates a real number with each element in the sample space. So guys, kapag sinabi natin sample space, ito ay tinatawag nating possible outcomes. The result of all possible outcomes in an experiment is called a sample space. So, say for example, kapag nag-toss tayo ng coin, of course, yung mga possible outcomes, pwedeng head, pwedeng tail, or head and tail, right? Okay. It is a variable whose values are determined by chance. Okay. So, kapag sinabi nating chances or chance, we think of probabilities of an event. Okay? And then, thus, in simple words, a random variable is a numerical quantity that is derived from the outcomes of a random experiment. So, toss tayo ng coin. So, we are actually doing or conducting an experiment. Okay? So, in probability, when we do an activity that can be repeatedly done under similar conditions, we are actually doing an experiment. Okay. And then, the result of a trial in an experiment is called an outcome. So, result of a trial. Ang tawag naman natin doon ay outcome. Okay? And then another concept about random variable. A random variable is represented by uppercase letter, usually the variable x or capital X, while its corresponding lowercase letter, which is x, is used to represent one of its values. Okay? So, mas maintindihan natin to kapag nag-example na tayo later. Examples of random variables. So, these are the few examples of random variables. So, those are tossing a coin, rolling a die, deck of cards, spinner. Okay? So, first, we have tossing a coin. What do you think is the result after tossing a coin? If you answer either head or a tail, then you are correct. Very good. So maybe a head or a tail. Very good. Right? Okay. And then, what is the probability of getting a head? So, ang tinatanong, ano yung chance na pwede nating kapag nag-toss tayo ng coin ay lalabas yung head? Of course, we only have two possible outcomes which are head and tail. So, one or one half, right? Kasi, we have two chances lang naman kapag nag-toss tayo ng coin. So, the answer is one half, right? Okay. Then, another example of random variables. So, rolling a die. Okay? So, kapag nag-roll tayo ng die, of course, we all know that yung die, it has 6 faces, right? Okay. And number with 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, when rolling a die, what is the sample space? So, ito yung tinatanong natin dito. Okay, again, kapag sinabi natin sample space, it is the result of all possible outcomes in an experiment, right? Okay. So, be mindful sa mga definition of terms natin. Ayan. We all know that a die has 6 faces as what I mentioned earlier, no? Okay, so with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that's the sample space R. So, yung sample space natin doon ay, of course, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Okay. So, these are the sample space. Then, what is the probability of getting a number greater than 2 if you roll a die. Okay. So, ang tinatanong, ano yung possible or yung chance na lumabas ay greater than 2? Of course, we have, or the possible outcomes muna ay, di ba, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Okay. So, what do you think is the answer? Okay. If your answer is 4/6 or 2/3, then you are correct. Okay? So, bakit naging ganon yung sagot natin? Okay? So, sabi kasi dito, class, what is the probability of getting a number greater than 2? No? Okay, mas malaki kaysa kay 2, right? So, we only have 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, how many possible outcomes are there? We only have 6, right? Okay, so that is 4/6. Or, simply, 2/3, right? Pwede nating i-simplify pa. Tama? Okay. Very good. So, because there are 4 possible outcomes when we talk about getting a number greater than 2. So, the result can be either 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, which means 4 out of 6 can be an outcome. Okay, or 2/3. Gets? Okay, another example will be deck of cards, spinner. Okay? So now, moving on. So we have steps on how to find the value of the random variables on any events or experiments. So first, mag-assign tayo ng letters that will represent each outcome. And then the second one, determine the sample space or all possible outcomes. And then the third one, count the number of the random variable. Okay? So example, suppose a coin is tossed thrice. Let x be the random variable representing the number of heads that will occur. Find the values of the random variable x. Okay. So first, we will assign letters sa mga possible outcomes natin doon. Since magtotoss tayo ng coin, of course, we will represent head as H and then tail as T, right? Okay. Kasi nag-toss tayo ng coin. Okay, so we have H4, of course, head yan, no? And then T4, our tail. Okay? So, paano tayo nag-come up ng ganito? Sabi natin, we have steps on how to find the value of the random variables on any event or experiments. So, mag-assign tayo ng letters, right? So, ito na yon. H or T or head and tail, right? And then, let's conduct an experiment, okay? So, sa first toss natin, of course, yung mga possible outcomes natin or yung pwedeng lumabas or yung chance na we have head or tail, right? Okay. Let me use another color. So, we have first toss, no? So, pwedeng head and then pwedeng tail, right? Okay. And then, sa second toss natin, so, pwede namang maging head or maging tail, right? Okay. So, pwede yon. Pwedeng maging head and then pwedeng maging tail. So, continue the process. So, pwede rin maging head, pwedeng maging tail. Right? Okay. Sa pangatlong toss natin, okay, so, by doing an experiment, of course, pwede pa rin maging head yon, pwede rin maging tail, right? And then, ganun din, pwede maging head, and then tail. Head, and then tail. So, we have head, and then tail, right? Okay. So, nakapag-conduct na tayo ng experiment, of course. Nakapag-toss na tayo ng 3 beses. And of course, tinatanong kasi dito guys, find the values of the random variable x. Okay? So, sabi natin doon sa one of the steps, no? Sabi natin, determine the sample space or all possible outcomes. Okay. So, dito guys, ito yung mga possible outcomes natin. Sulat natin. So, possible outcomes. So, we have, pwede tayo magkaroon dito ng, of course, head, head, head. So, head, head, head. Okay? And then, by the way kasi, dito guys, sabi natin, let x be the random variable representing the number of heads. So, mamaya, bibilangan natin kung ilang heads yung mag-appear dito. Okay? And then, of course, pwede maging head, head, tail. Head, head, tail. And then, another, pwedeng head, tail, head. So, head, tail, head. And then, another, we have head, tail, tail. So, head, tail, tail, right? And then, so we have tail, head, head. So, T, H, H. And then, tail, head, tail. So, T, H, T, right? And then we have tail, tail, head. So, T, T, H. And then we have, last one, tail, tail, tail. So, these are the possible outcomes. So, now, ni-represent natin yung random variable natin o yung heads as the variable x. Sabi natin dito kanina, okay, sa definition natin, a random variable is represented by an uppercase letter. Take note of that. Uppercase letter, usually X. Okay? So, ito yun, class. Ayan. So, number of number of heads or capital letter X, variable X. So, bilangin lang natin yan, class. So, we have H, 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 no? Of course, we have 3. And then H, H, T. So, we have 2 heads, no? So, 2, and then 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Of course, dito ay 0. Right? Okay. So, guys, dito, in the illustration above, random variable is represented by the uppercase letter. That is X, right? Okay. So, the lowercase x represents the specific value. Yung sinasabi natin kanina. So, we have x equals, of course, yung mga random variables natin ay ito. So, we have 0, we have 1, 2, 2, and then 3, right? So, x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3. And of course, 0, right? Ayan. So, thus, dito guys, hinahanap natin yung mga values, no? Okay. So, we therefore conclude that the number of heads, of course, we are represented by capital, no? So, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, we only have 4 values sa ating random variable. Okay? And, what if, pinapahanap din yung sample space natin? Okay? So, yung sample space natin ay ito, class. Yung possible outcomes. So, sulat natin dito. For the sample space, so that is S equals, lilist down lang natin to, class. Ayan. So, we have H, and then H, T, and then H. Okay. So, dot. So, we have tail. Okay? Gets? Okay, so this is the end of our video. I hope na meron kayo natutunan. Thank you for watching.